With the 2020 season and coming to its tournament, we have 32 robots in the field that are still there. But I think it's time that we go back and reminisce of this entire season and just look at all the most amazing hits in battle in this season. Today we are going to be looking at the top 10 best hits of Battlebots 2020. Now, I can't show the fight footage of this, but I will show fight clips of my picks for this list. Keep in mind this is just my opinion, and I'm sure yours is very different, as there were a lot of great hits this season, and you could make an argument for which one is the best. But let's just start this list off right now. Alright, so we're going to go through 10 to 1 to see which hit I think was the best hit of BattleBots 2020. And kicking off our list, we have Fusion versus Aegis. How Fusion ripped that side panel off of Aegis and just showed its entire inner chassis. That was a really great hit. That hit in general really showed just the amount of power Fusion does have and how well it can operate if it is operating at full functionability. This was a really great hit. The only reason it's not in top 5 or higher is because I feel like this fight was I feel like this was pretty much gonna happen anyway. I mean, maybe not ripping off an entire side chassis, but I still thought Fusion was going to do a good amount of damage to him. And you just didn't put up much of a fight anyway. So what was an amazing hit, and I'm pretty sure it took Aegis out of competing up until Aegis fights Bloodsport in the Beta Bounty Hunter episode, which has not come out yet for some weird reason. But yeah, this was a still very good hit, and I'm really looking forward to see Fusion in the postseason. I'm not predicting it to go to advance to the round of 16, but I still think Fusion could put on a show. Next up, we have Endgame versus Tombstone. The shot where Endgame hit Tombstone out of the arena. I mean, come on, we all knew this was going to happen. This is when we all knew that BattleBots was once again back in our lives, and we were so grateful for it. And yeah, this hit was, in general, really amazing. Just watching a top-tier bot like that get thrown out of the arena is just so amazing to see. Again, much like Aegis versus Fusion, however, the reason that this hit wasn't higher is because the bot that took the hit didn't really put up much of a fight. I mean, Tombstone kind of just didn't really move when it was about to get hit. So, I mean, nothing. It was kind of just Endgame's fight to win at that point. But yeah, this is a still pretty good hit, and Endgame has still shown some really good weapon power in its fight against Hypershock. And I'm sure it'll put on a show for us when it fights Perfect Phoenix. Now, speaking of Tombstone, we have a Tombstone Murder Fest. Yeah, I'm surprised we actually got one this year, as Tombstone is at 1 and 2 right now. But yeah, this is still a really good game, really good fight from Tombstone. It ripped off it. There's no really hit I can really give this to, so I'm just giving it to every single hit Tombstone gave in general. Maybe the main one being when Tombstone ripped off the two front wheels at once, and that was a pretty good hit in general. But I think Tombstone still did really great in this fight, and much like the last two, the only reason it's not higher is because I do think that the opponent that took the hit didn't exactly put up much of a fight. It's still a really amazing hit, and that's why it's on the list, but there are some problems with the hit. Next up, we have Copperhead versus Black Dragon. Now, this is where things got a little bit tough for me to decide, but I decided to give it to Copperhead throwing Black Dragon right to the Black Dragon team and just scaring the crap out of them. First of all, Copperhead has improved a lot in the past year, and it's good to see that they're 3-0. But yeah, that hit that Copperhead gave to Black Dragon, it was really good, and it just showed how gnarly that drum spinner can be and how just dangerous it is. Because, like, you can hear the, like, jet engine hum if you, like, go back to even 2019 fights and, like, rewatch Copperhead Scorpios, Copperhead Kronos, Copperhead Gruff. You can hear the drum spinner. And that drum spinner was on full display on that in this fight, and I think that hit that Copperhead threw Black Dragon to the team just really showed Copperhead's power in general. Next up, we have Jackpot versus Ghost Raptor. 2 hits for this, but mainly one over the other, but I'll get to that. First off, Jackpot throwing Ghost Raptor's weapon off, and then secondly, Jackpot, like, splitting Ghost Raptor almost in half, basically. Both hits were pretty amazing, and it showed just how destructive Jackpot could be going into the tournament. And yeah, this was just a good showing from Jackpot and just really destructive. Jackpot put on a big show, and now that he's 3-0, he's given me ultimate gambling addiction, so I blame Team Jackpot for that. I blame him a lot. Next up, we have going into our top 5, I believe. Yes, this is number 5. Hypershock versus Mammoth. Now, this is probably, as I've said before in, like, Green Square's podcast, I said that the Hypershock Mammoth fight was kind of like the Battle Royale with Cheese Hypershock fight, where they kind of just wanted to give Hypershock a somewhat easy win just to get into the tournament. But, I mean, you gotta admit, you did not expect Hypershock to hit the battery of Mammoth and just, like, instantly just set it asmoke, because that's what Hypershock did. I'm talking about the hit where Hypershock hit the engine of Mammoth, and then Mammoth just shorted out and started smoking. That was a really great hit from Hypershock. Really proved how much power that weapon could actually have if it is working correctly. I think that was a really good hit, and that is why it made it to my top 5. Next up, Bloodsport versus Scorpios. Now, my pick for this was the shot when Bloodsport kind of, like, peeled off the left side of Scorpios's wedge, I believe, and just showed the entire internals of Scorpios. That was just amazing. I did not see that coming. I thought Bloodsport might win, but it just showed a ton of damage going against Scorpios. I mean, peeling off the wedge like that was really great. So I do think that was, like, a fantastic shot from Bloodsport. Easily one of my favorite shots of the entire season. Now, going into our top 3, this was a very close top 3 for me. Honestly, it switched around multiple times. And I honestly think that the listings for my top 3 could switch around a few times again. But for my top 3, this is what my top 3 currently is. My number 3 is Uppercut versus Gemini. The hit where Uppercut punted Gemini out of the box. This was just showed all the power that Uppercut had. Just punting a 125-pound bot out of the arena like that, like it was nothing, was just instantly recognizable as a hit. It was just so amazing to see Uppercut's full-powered weapon in action and just throw something like freaking Tom Brady that thing into a out of the arena. That was a really great shot from Uppercut. Really amazing hit in general, and it showed all that Uppercut could do in the future. And I'm excited to see Uppercut in the postseason, as Uppercut is the 4 seed. I do believe they'll go pretty far. I think I predicted Uppercut to go into the quarterfinals, but finish in the quarterfinals. But yeah, this was a great showing from Uppercut, and just really proved how much damage that weapon can do. Now, we all knew it was coming. Uppercut versus Sawblaze, the fight where we had a monumental explosion. Now, I know what you're thinking. Civilian Arc, why is this not number 1? It should easily have been number 1. That was an amazing hit. Well, I mean, it was an amazing hit, first of all. Yes, that hit was amazing. Just watching Sawblaze just get exploded like that from Uppercut was really fun to watch. Just a giant ball of fire like that. We have never seen a giant ball of fire like that. I think the last time we saw like a big fire explosion like that was like when Bite Force hit Shaman in like the Bite Force Witch Doctor Rex Rumble and way back in 2016. But yeah, this was another amazing hit from Uppercut. Now the only reason I don't think is that it's the most amazing hit is because in general it didn't affect Sawblaze too much. I mean, that hit the gas engine for the flamethrower, I believe, so Sawblaze was still fully operable. It just lost its the most useless part of the robot. So not much happened to Sawblaze other than the fact that it couldn't spew flame out. But yeah, other than that, this was an amazing hit from Uppercut in general. Just watching that explosion, I just want to watch it again and again and again, just to see that explosion. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. Now, finally, for our number 1, we have Copperhead versus Gigabyte. Now, I know what you're thinking. This was kind of a slow fight at first. I do agree. But God, when both these bots just started to spin up and you were waiting for them to hit each other, oh my God, it was just worth it to see how that hit played out. Now, the hit I'm of course talking about is when Copperhead decided to de-shell Gigabyte and make it into a tortoise without its freaking shell. Yeah, that shot in general was amazing. It affected the entire fight of just Gigabyte. Gigabyte couldn't do anything after that. It was pretty much screwed. And from what I know, the shell was like it was attached correctly, unlike the fight it had against Tombstone back in 2018. Gigabyte's shell was correctly attached that time. It was fully operable. It was working correctly. But Copperhead just said, yeah, you don't work at all, and just decided to lob that shell clean off. That was an amazing hit from Copperhead, and just showed how much damage that weapon can do in general, which is why Copperhead is my predicted champion for 2020. I predict Copperhead will be hoisting the giant nut in 2020. But yeah, these were my listings for the top 10 BattleBots hits of 2020. Please share your list down in the comments with me. Let me know if you agreed with my listings. Let me know if you didn't. But please don't be hateful, as these are all just my opinions, so take it with a pinch of salt. Anyway, that's all, guys, and I can't wait for that